Police looked again at the evidence in the hope of finding a connection with the killer. The letters sent by BTK were always photocopied to help disguise the typewriter he had used. But unknown to BTK, early photocopiers used distinctive paper rolls and toner. Detectives traced the paper from BTK's communications to a machine in this building on the campus of the State University. Police hoped this might pinpoint BTK, but he was not the only one using this machine.
The problem is, it was public access. Anybody could put a nickel in, and anybody could make a copy there.
The photocopier could not reveal BTK's identity.
The best evidence we had was the voice tape. We played it over and over again.
The voice on the recording that came into appeared to be a white male. So we're looking at white males, probably in their age of the 40s.
But then, in the 1980s, BTK disappeared again. There were no more letters, and the murders seemed to stop. Had he given up, or was he stalking his next victim?
We were told all along, serial killers can't stop. We didn't believe that. We believe he did stop. We believe he was here.
Police set up a special task force to keep up the hunt for BTK.
They had looked at every eccentric, everybody with a sexual offender record, everybody basically with a criminal record. They had looked at them, excluded them.
Then in 1985, after 6 years of silence, another body was discovered. 53-year-old Maureen Hedge was found in a ditch on the outskirts of Wichita. She had been strangled. But police could not be sure if this was BTK. He had never moved a victim from their home before.
He knows that that's going to delay the investigation, that it's going to be worked as a missing person, that she drove away. He didn't want to arouse any suspicions.
The murder didn't fit with the killer's normal pattern.
There was a discernible ritual, not a discernible MO. Let's define MO. MO are those acts necessary to the commission of the crime. The thing that makes BTK discernible is his ritual.
The killer took the body of Mrs. Hedge into an empty church that night to take a series of sexually explicit photographs.
And he took her there as a challenge, if you will. He went to God's home, God's house on earth, and desecrated it as part of his belief of how powerful he is.
Despite the bold risks the killer took, the murder of Maureen Hedge remained unsolved.
So they can take these greater risks with the confidence that they are so superior, they're not going to be caught.
BTK meticulously planned his attacks. He could wait years to find the right victim. In between attacks, jewelry stolen from previous victims became the focus of BTK's attention.
I think he had his trophies. He could relive the crime. There are ways for a person to satisfy himself, and that's masturbatory fantasies. So we know he used these trophies.
6 years after the murder of Maureen Hedge, another body was found. 62-year-old Davis was enjoying her retirement in a house on the outskirts of town. As Mrs. Davis slept, someone hurled a concrete block through the glass door of her home.
Sound like a bomb, probably. I don't think she jumped out of bed. And, you try and get your bearings, figure out what went on. And here's this animal standing there, and then he went ahead and strangled her with her pantyhose.
Police discovered the body under this bridge, 10 miles north of Wichita. But they didn't know just how close the killer was. BTK had set up a complex alibi to ensure he would not become a suspect.
It was about a mile and a half away from his house. He had set up that he was on a scouting trip because it was close to his house, so he thought it was too close to home that he thought that he might become a suspect.
He left for no evidence. There were no witnesses. If you have a 10 as the maximum best organized, then I would say, with one being the least organized, then I would say BTK's an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Over 30 years since BTK had first struck, 10 unsolved murders still haunted the city. In his letter of 1978, the killer had claimed 7 attacks, but BTK had remained silent on 3 more unsolved murders. All leads had come to a dead end. But in 2004, advances in DNA technology provided a breakthrough that would prove crucial. The semen samples from murders BTK carried out in the 1970s were reanalyzed. Police now had a DNA profile of the killer.
We had the DNA profile of BTK. However, until we had a profile from the known individual that we can compare that to, we couldn't identify an individual. The only thing that we could exclude is that when we ran the profile through the DNA database, this person was not a convicted offender that had his profile in the database.
Then, on the 30th anniversary of BTK's first attack, came news of an upcoming book saying that BTK is history.
I thought, this guy's probably dead. It started as an academic educational exercise. But there was a point when I realized that this might actually flesh out the killer. If he is still out there, we may hear from him.
That was a challenge to BTK. I'm still here. You know, I'm still omnipresent, if you will. I'm everywhere.
March 19th, 2004, a letter arrived here claiming credit for a brutal, unsolved murder in 1986. The victim, 28-year-old Vicky Weatherly. The signature was all too familiar.
There was no doubt that it was a genuine communication. We were going to work the case that it was BTK and that we were going to catch him this time. The strategy was to keep him talking, because the problem we'd had before was that we'd get a letter from him and then we would not hear from him for another 3 or 4 years. So we wanted the frequency of the communications to increase.
Police could not risk BTK going underground again.
It was critical that we set up a bond between Lieutenant Landwehr and this killer. At this point, the FBI told us that it was very possible that the killer could become obsessed with that person and possibly target them or their family.
This was the worst time of my life. I was terrified that this guy was maybe going to come after my family or somebody or kill someone else in this community, and it was going to be on my watch.
We were very, very careful to never say anything that might challenge him, anything that he might perceive as belittling. We did not want to set this man off. We did not want to upset him in any way.
This is one of the most challenging cases that I've ever been involved with. And I find that the individual that was doing this would be very interesting to talk to.
I'm not talking to the press. I'm not talking to the public. I'm talking to BTK. And I want BTK to understand that he finally got the notoriety that he had always craved.
The residents of Wichita felt the fear of over 30 years ago gripped the city again. The hunt was on for BTK. BTK responded to Lieutenant Landwehr's appeals in a series of notes and packages, often inside cereal boxes marked BTK. He sent a bound and hung doll, a chilling reference to young Josephine Otero. But even more sinister, BTK revealed his plans to kill again. An email that I think lives alone. Just got to work out the details. I'm much older now, and I have to condition myself carefully. Got to do it this year or next. Time is running out for me.
He makes a threat that he's found someone, and we made sure that the public knew this is serious. Don't trust anybody.
You can see the fear in their eyes. And when the most important people in an investigation are that scared, it's a scary feeling for everyone.
For 10 months, police play a game of cat and mouse with BTK, until the killer's urge to communicate leads to a critical mistake. He leaves a package in an open flatbed truck outside a Wichita hardware store, in a parking lot covered by security cameras. Detectives prepared to analyze more than 2,000 hours of footage in a race against time.
A vehicle comes into the lot, it does kind of a loop, and it pulls next to the truck. He pulls something out from his vehicle and places it behind the cab of the truck, and then gets back in his vehicle and pulls away.
The pictures wouldn't identify BTK, but could they pinpoint his vehicle? Forensic experts analyzed the image by measuring the size, volume, and ground clearance, as well as the paint shade of the vehicle. Detectives made a crucial discovery. BTK drove a black Jeep Cherokee. In the message left at the hardware store, the killer asks if a computer floppy disk can be traced back to the computer which authored it. If police promised it couldn't, he'd send future messages that way.
He felt himself in such a powerful position, and the police were so dependent upon him for information that they couldn't possibly lie to him.
But police weren't playing by BTK's rules. They set a trap using a newspaper advert.
He wants us to answer in code. He says, Rex, it will be okay. The chances of him falling for that, we didn't think that was a possibility. I don't think anyone could ever believe that we were that lucky.
BTK had made a fatal error. The disk he sent was rushed to the forensics team. Could such a simple trap finally snip BTK?
Microsoft embeds in many of its documents something called metadata. And that metadata is information about the file. You can access that by going to File Properties. And as you can see here, the software that was registered to Christ Lutheran Church.
This church is just north of Wichita. But how could it possibly be linked to a serial killer?
In addition to that, you can see that the document was last saved by a person in Dennis.
After 31 years, a name. What happened next was so quick, so simple. It's hard to believe.
We came up with a website for Christ Lutheran Church in Wichita. And on that home page, there's a link to people who were related to the church. So when you click on that link, it brings up the page.